That's how it starts. The fever, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness.
So that's it? Well, it's some kind of suicide squad.
Cruel.
You're letting him kill Martha!
Love your perfume. What is that? The stench of death?
Why did you say that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Because the time
Stays good.
You are still not getting my IMAX money, DC. There's a moment in Wonder Woman where she walks along the border of no man's land with Steve Trevor and their allies. And she sees the pain and suffering that this war has caused on innocent people, and it shakes her to her core. She wants to help, and she argues that she should. But Steve tells her, no, they can't. They have a mission to do. They need to focus on the mission. And their mission does not involve saving these people. Now, she agrees with him. But then she turns and she says, but this is what I'm going to do. And she steps onto the battlefield. That amazing theme starts playing. And as she walks along the field, testing her powers, watching them grow, and taking part in this superb action sequence, she takes back the land and walks into DC cinematic history. It was this moment that made me say, okay, DC, this is what I've been waiting on. This is what I've wanted to see from your heroes since you started the DC extended universe. A hero that knows that they're more than human, but they still want to help humanity. So as usual, I'm going to tell you what rocked and what sucked about Wonder Woman, DC's latest entry in their extended cinematic universe. It's the first female-led superhero movie directed by a female director, and we're in 2017.
What year is it?
Go away, overused meme. But no, seriously, it took this long. Wonder Woman herself could be an allegory for this movie and what it represents. You know, she has to head out into a male-dominated world, kind of like a superhero movie landscape. She was trained and guided by a woman that met resistance from Diana's mother, who could be stand-ins for Patty Jenkins, the director, and the studio. Nobody really believes that she could make a difference in this landscape, and she does. Kind of like and the eventual success of this movie. Or I could be reading way too much into things. I once thought I saw Jesus in a doubles. Wasn't him. Probably the strongest element of this movie is the relationship between Diana and Steve, because it's so real and naturalistic. It doesn't feel forced. Unlike some other superhero movies, Thor, as the audience, we know they're going to end up together, but Gal Gadot and Chris Pine have so much chemistry that they make the romance so believable. And that's one of the things Patty Jenkins really handles expertly in this movie. The interaction between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, and interactions between the other characters. There's great natural humor that stems from Diana's naivety as she navigates this new world. And again, this is bolstered by her chemistry with Chris Pine. There's a great little scene that's plucked straight from the comics where she samples some ice cream. And it's little things like this that make Diana such a believable character. But there are a few other homages to comics and well-known superhero movies as well. And that really enhances the film for a comic fan. And then finally there's that kick-ass theme song. That Wonder Woman theme is probably the best thing to come out of DC since the beginning of the cinematic universe. It's so iconic and powerful, and it stands head and shoulders with those theme songs that we know from the other two members of the Trinity. That song can make even the most mundane of tasks seem exciting.
I tell you not to put your face so close to the iron.
But I'm glad Diana now has a modern theme song that is instantly recognizable and associated with her. So a lot of people thought that Gal Gadot wasn't right for this role, that she wasn't muscular enough, that her breasts weren't big enough.
The boob is not enough.
Great song.
Breasts are too small.
And I really couldn't understand that argument. It really threw me for a loop. Because to me, it actually works better when the character is just fit enough so that when they perform feats of strength, the strength actually seems superhuman. So why do we need Gal Gadot to be this giant beast of a woman? She's fine. She does well. She embodies the character of Wonder Woman. And when she does perform these feats of strength, she's entirely believable. What, does Wonder Woman store her powers in her breasts or something? That's why they need to be big? I didn't know that. Calm down. She's fine. But now on to what sucked. Because this movie isn't perfect. I know I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else seems to. There are a few problems with the movie, both technical and otherwise, that hold it back from achieving true greatness. First of all, the plot is insanely predictable. They are so heavy with the foreshadowing, especially in the dialogue, that it's very easy to work out where they're going with these twists and figure them out long before the movie actually reveals them. Secondly, there are some pacing issues. Especially at the beginning, it takes them almost 40 minutes to get off of the island of Themyscira, and it's not until maybe almost halfway through the movie that Wonder Woman actually makes her first real costumed appearance. And the action scenes, while mostly competent, you can tell that Patty Jenkins is not comfortable shooting action scenes. That is not her niche, and so she borrows very heavily from Zack Snyder's action sequence style. There's a lot of speed ramping and slow motion, and it's almost borderline excessive. And I am sorry, I have heard a lot of people praising the CGI in this movie, but I cannot agree. The CGI was horrible. It was one of those movies where you could tell when they replaced the live actors with CGI, and it really takes you out of the movie. The villains are so underdeveloped and boring, and at one point they even become almost cartoonish. There's one scene where they look at each other and laugh like, tee, we're so evil, we do evil things, that's so evil, and then they run away while crouching, and it's so ridiculous and out of place with the entire context of the movie that it just doesn't work, and it took me out of the movie as well. And then there's a cliche, bloated, big video game boss ending. That was the only part of the movie that reminded me of Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad, in that it's just big blockbuster special effects and punching. And the thing is, they set up for a much better ending just before this happens, and it would have worked so much better, but no, they had to throw it out of the window in favor of this regular superhero DC movie ending. But the thing is, these things don't take away from the enjoyment of this film. Actually, as the movie went on, I enjoyed it more and more, and as I spoke about before, there was this moment when I said, okay DC, this is what I'm looking for from your movie. Wonder Woman is an achievement, and in my opinion, a worthy addition to the pantheon of great superhero origin stories. I give this one a watch it. It real dread. Now, don't forget to whine on all our buttons. The like button on Facebook, the subscribe button on YouTube, the follow button on VidMe, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to share, or else Gal Gadot will watch you and bite her bottom lip. Well, okay, that doesn't sound so bad, but still share. And don't forget, I'm not a film critic, but I can definitely rock a review. See you at the cinema.